Welcome to Michael Health Insights. Ever wondered why you're falling and constantly weak even though you eat healthy, take supplements, and exercise? It might be sarcopenia, and it's far more common in seniors over 60 than most people realize. I'm Dr. Michael, and today I want to share something with you that I've been quietly using in my practice for years, something that has changed the lives of thousands of patients over 60. But first, let me ask you something important. Where are you watching from, and how old are you? What muscle loss problems are you dealing with right now? Tell me in the comments. I personally read each one and reply when I can. Sarcopenia is what happens when your muscles get smaller and weaker as you age. It's not just normal aging. It's your body actually losing muscle mass faster than it can rebuild it. Think of your muscles like a savings account that's slowly being drained, even when you can't see the balance dropping. It makes everyday things harder. Getting up from a chair becomes a workout. Carrying groceries feels like lifting weights. Keeping your balance on stairs becomes a real struggle. Recent research shows that seniors over 60 can lose up to 40% of their muscle mass each year if they don't take action. That means nearly half of your strength could quietly disappear in just 12 months. Which is why in this video, I want to show you not just the 5 foods that are secretly destroying your muscles every morning, but more importantly, the one breakfast food I recommend to almost every single one of my patients over 60. One simple, affordable, scientifically proven food that has helped thousands of my patients reclaim strength they thought was gone forever. And I'll explain exactly how to eat it, when to eat it, and the small preparation tricks that make it dramatically more effective. So stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the next decade of your life. Now, before I reveal that one food, you need to understand what's happening inside your muscles every single night while you sleep. It's not just rest. It's a two-step process. First, the day before you sleep, your muscles are used up and have tiny microscopic tears in their fibers. This sounds bad, but it is actually what ignites growth. Second, your body senses this damage and goes into full repair mode. It sends healing cells that patch up those tears and rebuild the fibers thicker and stronger than before. That's the secret. Your body is adapting itself to be ready for the next day. But here's the part most people forget. This repair process can't happen without the right fuel in the morning. You need certain foods for the actual building blocks for new muscles, and most of this rebuilding happens shortly after you've had breakfast. So if you're not eating the right things at breakfast, you are quietly robbing your muscles of everything they need to recover. But most seniors make the mistake of feeding their muscles the wrong foods the moment they wake up. So before I tell you about the one breakfast food that can help you rebuild what you've lost, I need to warn you about the 5 foods you should never mix with your morning if you want to keep the muscle you still have. 5 foods to never eat for breakfast if you want to stop losing your muscles. Number 1, white bread. Here's what happens when you eat white bread in the morning. The moment it hits your stomach, it breaks down into pure sugar and floods your bloodstream. Your body panics and releases massive amounts of insulin to control the spike. But here's the problem. High insulin levels actually block your muscles from using protein to repair themselves. It's like putting a lock on your muscle-building factory right when it needs to work the most. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. White bread doesn't just stop muscle growth. It actively accelerates muscle breakdown. When your blood sugar crashes after that initial spike, your body starts breaking down your own muscle tissue to create energy. You're literally eating away your muscles with every slice. A recent study followed 2,000 seniors over 3 years who ate white bread daily for breakfast. The results were alarming. They lost 23% more muscle mass compared to seniors who avoided white bread in the morning. Most people are doing this to themselves every single day without realizing it. Let me tell you about Patricia. She was 63, a retired postal worker who came to my clinic about 18 months ago. She was struggling with classic sarcopenia. She couldn't get up from her chair without using her arms as support. She had trouble carrying her groceries up the stairs. She felt unsteady walking down her front steps, and she was constantly tired even after a full night's sleep. She'd already fallen once the previous winter, and her daughter was getting worried. After reviewing Patricia's diet, I discovered something obvious. Every morning before heading out for her morning walk, she would grab 2 slices of white toast with butter. It was quick, easy, and kept her full. She thought she was making a sensible, balanced choice, but that white bread was quietly stealing her muscle day after day. So I redesigned her breakfast, removed the white bread entirely, and added the one food I'm about to share with you. Within a few weeks, Patricia started showing real progress. She regained noticeable muscle mass, her energy climbed, she could climb her front steps without holding the railing, and most importantly, she felt confident in her own body again. Patricia told me she felt like she had her 40-year-old legs back, and it started with removing that morning white bread. Number 2, coffee on an empty stomach. Ever wonder what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning and reach for a cup of coffee before eating anything? The moment that caffeine hits your empty stomach, it triggers your adrenal glands to release a massive surge of cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. But here's the problem. Cortisol is your muscle's worst enemy. When cortisol levels spike without any food in your system, your body thinks it's in survival mode and immediately starts breaking down your muscle tissue to convert it into glucose for emergency energy. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. That morning coffee ritual doesn't just break down muscle, it actually prevents your body from building new muscle for up to 6 hours afterward. The cortisol surge from fasted caffeine consumption blocks a key muscle-building hormone called IGF-1, which is responsible for muscle growth and repair. Even if you eat protein later in the day, your muscle-building machinery stays switched off because of that morning mistake. A study of 600 seniors who drank coffee on an empty stomach every morning for 14 months found they lost 22% more muscle mass compared to seniors who either ate before their coffee or skipped morning caffeine entirely. The researchers concluded that fasted caffeine consumption creates a condition called chronic muscle catabolism, where the body continuously breaks down muscle tissue throughout the day, even during rest periods. One of my most challenging patients was Robert. He was 67, a retired electrician who came to see me at the clinic just over a year ago. Robert had always been active. He loved his morning walks and tended a sizable vegetable garden every weekend, but he developed a brutal habit over the past decade. The moment he woke up, before doing anything else, he would brew a large, strong cup of black coffee and drink it standing at the kitchen counter, completely fasted. Sometimes he would have 3 of those cups before his breakfast at 11 in the morning. He thought it sharpened his focus. He thought it was harmless. What Robert didn't know was that this coffee habit was quietly eating his muscle from the inside. When he came to see me, he'd lost so much grip strength that he couldn't open jar lids anymore. He'd stopped doing his beloved garden because he could no longer lift bags of soil. He had fallen twice in his kitchen, and his wife was frightened. After I helped him move his coffee ritual to after a real protein breakfast and added the one muscle-building breakfast food I'm about to share with you, Robert went through a remarkable change. Within 12 weeks, he was back in his garden. He rebuilt an entire raised bed by himself, carrying bags of soil without help. He told me he felt like the clock had been turned back 15 years. Robert got his strength back simply by reordering his morning. Number 3, processed meat. Now, the next food I'm about to reveal might surprise you because many seniors think they're making a smart protein-rich breakfast choice. In fact, you've probably been told this food is good for you because it's high in protein. What most people don't tell you is the dark secret hiding inside this breakfast staple, a chemical compound that's silently damaging your muscle fibers from the inside even as you think you're feeding them. I'm talking about processed meats, your bacon, sausage, and deli ham that millions of seniors grab for a quick protein breakfast. But here's what's really happening when you eat bacon as part of breakfast in the morning. Within 30 minutes, those nitrates and nitrites used to preserve the meat start converting into powerful inflammatory compounds called nitrosamines in your stomach. These toxic chemicals flood your bloodstream and head straight for your muscle tissue, where they trigger massive inflammation. Your muscle fibers literally start swelling and breaking down as your immune system attacks them. It's like setting off tiny explosions throughout your muscles every time you eat processed meat. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. Those nitrates actually hijack your muscle's repair system and turn it against itself. They damage the mitochondria, the power plants of your muscle cells. Without functioning mitochondria, your muscles can't produce energy or repair themselves. Even worse, the damaged mitochondria release free radicals that continue destroying healthy muscle tissue for hours after you've finished eating. You're literally poisoning your muscles from the inside out. A recent study tracked 1,400 seniors who ate processed meats for breakfast at least 4 times per week for 16 months. The results were devastating. They experienced 33% more muscle deterioration compared to seniors who avoided processed meats entirely. The researchers found that the nitrate exposure created what they called chronic muscle inflammation syndrome, where the muscles remain in a constant state of breakdown, unable to recover or rebuild properly. I remember exactly when I saw this come through my clinic last winter. Linda was a 69-year-old retired librarian who came in complaining that she couldn't carry her groceries from the car to her kitchen without stopping twice to rest. She had trouble getting out of her bathtub. Her handwriting had become so shaky that she had stopped signing cards for her grandchildren. She was terrified she had some neurological condition. During our consultation, I learned that Linda had a very specific routine. Every single morning for the past 14 years, she would cook herself 2 strips of bacon and a breakfast sausage patty because her late husband had always insisted she needed protein to stay strong. She never missed a day. What Linda didn't realize was that those processed meats were flooding her body with nitrates, creating chronic inflammation that was systematically destroying her muscle fibers. When I saw Linda 8 months later at a community event, I barely recognized her. She was carrying 2 heavy bags of groceries with ease. She was volunteering at the local library 2 days a week and had even started a daily Tai Chi class. Linda told me she felt stronger and more vibrant than she did in her 50s, all because she stopped poisoning her muscles with those morning bacon strips. Number 4, oatmeal with skim milk. Now, this food might be the most shocking of all because it's literally marketed as the perfect healthy breakfast for seniors. Health magazines praise it, dietitians recommend it, and your own doctor has probably told you it's heart healthy. But what they're not telling you is that this superfood is actually starving your muscles of the essential fat-soluble nutrients they desperately need to survive and grow. Ever wonder what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning and have oats with low-fat skim milk? Here's the hidden disaster. When you remove the fat from milk, you're not just removing calories, you're removing the delivery system your body needs to absorb crucial muscle-building vitamins like A, D, E, and K. These are fat-soluble vitamins, which means without fat present, they pass right through your system unused. Your muscles are literally starving for these nutrients while you think you're feeding them. It's like trying to unlock a door, but throwing away the key. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. Skim milk doesn't just fail to deliver vitamins. It actually leaches calcium and magnesium from your existing muscle tissue. Instead of building muscle, your body has to rob minerals from your muscles to process this incomplete protein. You're essentially cannibalizing your own muscle tissue to digest what you think is a healthy breakfast. A recent study followed 1,900 seniors who ate oatmeal with skim milk daily for 18 months. The results were alarming. They lost 29% more muscle mass compared to seniors who used whole milk or avoided dairy altogether. The researchers discovered that the fat-free dairy created what they called nutrient malabsorption syndrome, where muscles become deficient in essential vitamins despite adequate food intake. I remember exactly when I realized how dangerous this so-called healthy breakfast could be. I was at a community garden event last spring when I spotted George, a 72-year-old retired school principal who had been my patient 2 years earlier. When George first came to see me, he was experiencing alarming muscle deterioration. He couldn't lift his 4-year-old grandson anymore. He needed help opening car doors. He had developed a noticeable tremor in his hands that embarrassed him at dinner. What puzzled me initially was that George was obsessed with eating healthy. Every morning for nearly 20 years, he would have a large bowl of steel-cut oats with skim milk and a banana because his cardiologist had told him it was the perfect heart-healthy, low-fat breakfast. He measured everything precisely and never deviated. George couldn't understand why he was getting weaker despite following every piece of nutritional advice he'd ever been given. At that garden event, I watched George kneel on the ground, plant an entire row of seedlings, and stand back up without using his hands for support. He looked radiant. George told me that after switching from skim milk to whole milk and adding the muscle-building food I'll show you next, he now works part-time as a tour guide at the local botanical gardens, a job that has him walking miles every day. He said he has more energy and strength at 72 than he had at 55. Number 5. Refined cereals. Now, the final food on this list is sitting in 90% of senior households right now and is probably in your pantry as we speak. You grab it when you're in a hurry. You trust it because the box says fortified with vitamins, and you might even choose the ones that claim to support heart health or bone strength. Ever wonder what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning and have cereal? Within an hour of eating that bowl of seemingly innocent cereal, your body desperately searches for the essential amino acids it needs to repair and build muscle tissue from your overnight fasting state. But here's the problem. Refined cereals contain incomplete proteins, missing critical amino acids like leucine, lysine, and methionine. When your muscles can't find these building blocks, they go into panic mode and start breaking down your existing muscle tissue to harvest the amino acids they need. You're literally forcing your body to cannibalize itself just to function. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. Refined cereals contain anti-nutrients that block your body from absorbing amino acids from other foods you eat throughout the day. The processing creates compounds called phytates and lectins that bind to amino acids in your digestive system and flush them out as waste. Even if you eat chicken or fish later, those muscle-building proteins get stolen away by the cereal you ate hours earlier. A study tracking 2,500 seniors who ate refined cereals for breakfast daily over 22 months found they experienced 37% more muscle deterioration compared to seniors who ate protein-rich breakfasts. The researchers called this protein starvation syndrome, where muscles continuously break down because they can't access the building blocks they need, even when adequate protein is consumed later in the day. I remember running into Daniel at our local pharmacy just a few months ago. Daniel is a 70-year-old retired postmaster who had come to see me about 14 months earlier. When I first met him, Daniel was devastated because he could no longer handle even basic home repairs he loved doing for his grandchildren. His hands would shake when trying to use a screwdriver. He couldn't carry a bag of potting soil anymore. He'd given up woodworking, his lifelong hobby, because he simply didn't have the strength or coordination. Daniel's breakfast routine was as automatic as his old mail route. Every single morning, for over 25 years, he would have exactly 2 bowls of Raisin Bran with low-fat milk, believing he was getting fiber and staying healthy. His wife had started this routine decades earlier, and he never questioned it. What Daniel didn't realize was that those refined bran flakes were systematically starving his muscles of the amino acids they desperately needed, especially after decades of physical labor had already stressed his muscle fibers. When I bumped into Daniel, he was unloading a large appliance for his daughter with steady hands and a confident grip. Daniel told me that after eliminating refined cereals and adding the one breakfast food I am about to reveal, he is back in his workshop 3 afternoons a week. He has built a custom bookshelf for every grandchild in the family. He told me his hands feel like a craftsman's hands again, all because he stopped eating those healthy bran flakes every morning. Now that you know the 5 breakfast foods that have been quietly stealing your muscle, let me share with you the one breakfast food I recommend to nearly every single one of my patients over 60. The food that has helped Patricia rebuild her legs, helped Robert reclaim his garden, helped Linda carry her groceries, helped George plant seedlings on his knees, and helped Daniel grip his tools again. The answer is eggs. Yes, simple, affordable, scientifically proven eggs. Do you know what happens when you eat eggs in the morning? The moment you consume this incredible muscle-building food, your body receives all 9 essential amino acids in perfect proportions, making eggs the undisputed gold standard of complete proteins. Within 30 minutes, these amino acids flood your bloodstream and head straight to your muscle tissue, where they provide every single building block your muscles need to repair and grow. But here's what makes eggs truly extraordinary. They contain the highest biological value of any food in existence, meaning your body can actually use 94% of the protein for muscle building compared to only 60 to 70% for most other protein sources. Plus, eggs are loaded with vitamin D, which acts like a hormone that tells your muscles to absorb more protein and grow stronger. Eggs also contain choline, a nutrient that many seniors are chronically deficient in, and which supports the nerve signals that tell your muscles when and how to contract. 2 whole eggs every morning deliver roughly 12 to 14 grams of the most bioavailable protein you can find in any food on the planet. Now here's how to make the most of them. The single most important rule is to always eat the whole egg. The yolk contains half the protein, plus all the vitamin D, the choline, and the healthy fats your muscles need to absorb it. Tossing the yolk is the most expensive mistake in senior nutrition. The second rule is to eat eggs as your first food of the day, within 30 minutes of waking, when your muscles are the most receptive and the most starved for protein after the overnight fast. The third rule is to cook them gently, soft-boiled, poached, or scrambled in a small amount of coconut oil or grass-fed butter. High heat destroys some of the delicate amino acids. The fourth rule, and this is the one most people miss, is to pair your eggs with 1 serving of healthy fat, like a few slices of avocado or a handful of walnuts. This combination boosts protein absorption by up to 40% and gives your body the fat-soluble vitamins it needs. A research review, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, confirmed that older adults who ate 2 eggs every morning for 12 weeks showed a 24% increase in muscle protein synthesis and gained an average of 2 pounds of lean muscle mass. Most remarkably, 81% of participants showed improved leg strength and 76% reported better overall physical performance. The researchers concluded that the combination of complete amino acids, vitamin D, and choline in eggs created what they called optimal muscle anabolic conditions, essentially turning the body into a muscle-building machine each morning. I want to ask you something before we close. Which of those 5 damaging foods surprised you the most? Have you been eating any of them thinking they were healthy? Drop a comment and let me know. I genuinely want to hear your story. And if this information is helping you understand what's been happening to your muscles and you now have a clear action plan to rebuild strength, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I spend hours researching and putting together videos like this to help seniors like you reclaim their lives. Your subscription tells me this matters, and it helps me reach thousands more people who need this information. It only takes 1 second, but it means the world to me. Now I know some people will watch this video and go right back to doing what's easy and familiar. They'll keep grabbing their white toast and their raisin bran and their bacon because change feels uncomfortable. But not you. You're different. You're going to apply what you just learned. Swap those 5 muscle-stealing foods for 2 simple eggs each morning. Stay consistent and come back to tell me how much stronger you're feeling. Because that's exactly what Patricia did, what Robert did, what Linda did, what George did, and what Daniel did. They each replaced the wrong foods with this one right food, and they each got back a piece of their life they thought was gone forever. I want to leave you with a thought I've carried through every year of my medical practice. Your body is not your enemy. It's constantly trying to repair, rebuild, and protect you. When your muscles feel weak, when grip strength fades, when stairs feel like mountains, those are signals, requests from your body for a small, simple change. Often that change is not another pill. Sometimes it's as simple as 2 eggs tomorrow morning. Health doesn't live in a pharmacy. It lives in the small choices you make every single day, starting with breakfast. Take good care of yourself and take good care of the people you love. Your future self is built one morning at a time. I'll see you